Hey everyone, welcome back. For those of you who are new here, my name is Brittany. I'm a health coach and nutritionist, and my channel is all about helping you to create delicious low FODMAP meals to improve your digestive health. If you haven't already, please subscribe. I would really like to reach 100 subscribers by the end of quarantine, whatever that may be. Okay, so today we are making bolognese, which is just a fancy name for a meat sauce. To make our sauce, we're gonna be using a pound of ground beef, a pound of sausage or ground pork, if you can't find sausage that doesn't have garlic in it, parsley, basil cubes, which are amazing. I love these. This is my secret to this sauce. It's so hard keeping basil alive. We're gonna be using 6 cans of diced tomatoes. I just like to use all diced, and then I throw some of the cans in the blender to give it like a different texture. You'll see, let's start that right now. It's so much easier just doing like all diced tomatoes. I just buy like the big thing from Costco. Ooh. Okay, so for the first one, we're gonna go for a more like crushed tomato. We're just gonna blend it on low for like 30 seconds, if that. That's it. I usually just do this and put it straight into my pot, but I wanted to show you guys what it looks like. All right, so for these next 2 cans, we're gonna blend on high for a minute or so. That was definitely not a minute. But see how the color is much lighter? It's more of a, not really a tomato sauce, but I don't know, it just gives it like different texture. And then these last 2 cans, we're just gonna leave diced. So this one is the one that we blended first. You can see it's more like crushed tomato, and then this one is a much finer puree. I think it's nice to have a bunch of different textures in the sauce, personally. Okay, now we're just gonna chop up our sausage. If you can't find sausage without garlic in it, I would suggest just using ground pork, and then we're gonna put seasonings in it to make it taste like sausage. So for that, we're going to be using Fennel Seeds and a little crushed red pepper, which is gonna be more like a hot Italian sausage. That's what I like. You can omit the crushed red pepper if you would like to go for a more like sweet Italian sausage, but I'm just like, I just love the spice. Okay, so now that we've got our sausage all cut up, we're gonna go over to the stove. We've just been preheating this Dutch oven. You can use a regular pot. I just happen to be using this one today. And we're gonna start by adding our meat. I'm not gonna put any oil in the pan because this sausage is greasy enough. Okay, we're just gonna brown that. All right, so this has been browning for about 5 minutes. All right, so now we're just going to drain the grease. If you're using real sausage, then there's always gonna be a ton of grease. All right, that's good enough. You wanna leave some in there for flavor. Now we're gonna throw in about a ½ teaspoon of fennel seeds and a ¼ teaspoon of crushed red pepper. Just let them cook a little bit. This fennel and the crushed red pepper are what's gonna help your ground pork taste like sausage. Okay, so now we're just gonna throw in our tomatoes. These are the diced tomatoes. These are the crushed tomatoes. And then this is the tomato puree. Okay, now we're gonna throw in our basil cubes, 4 of them. Two teaspoons of Italian seasoning. And a ¼ teaspoon of black pepper. No salt. The canned tomatoes are salted, so I like to wait until the end to taste for salt because we're gonna cook this down and a lot of the water is going to evaporate out. I'm gonna put in about a tablespoon of garlic oil, a bay leaf. Mine are like really sad and broken right now. I need to get some new ones. Okay, we're also gonna throw in a large handful of chopped parsley. Stir that up. And then we're gonna bring it up to temperature on high heat. Okay, now that our sauce is bubbling, we're going to cover it and move it to a smaller burner and simmer it on low for 4 hours. I know that's a lot, but that really is the secret to good bolognese. It takes time. The time is what allows the tomatoes to actually become sauce. You wanna make sure to keep your lid ajar because you want some of the moisture to evaporate and the sauce to cook down. Okay, so we've been simmering our pasta sauce for about 4 hours on low with the lid ajar. You can see that the sauce has thickened up quite nicely and reduced. So now we're just gonna give it a stir and taste it for salt. It's perfect, doesn't need salt. You can put this in the crock pot in the morning before work and then cook it 8 hours on low or 4 hours on high, and then come home to an amazing smelling house and have spaghetti for dinner. I would not recommend doing it in the Instapot though, because you need the water to evaporate out of the sauce. If you do it in the Instapot, the water will not evaporate and you'll have a watery sauce. If you're eating this sauce and you are still finding that you're having digestive issues, just know that it's possible to be sensitive to nightshades also. So that means tomatoes, potatoes, peppers, and things like that. So that's something that you're gonna want to investigate if you're still having IBS issues. So now let's plate it up with some pasta. All right, here we've got our low FODMAP bolognese sauce. I'm just gonna dish it up over some pasta, some gluten-free pasta. If you guys are having trouble finding a gluten-free pasta that you like, I really recommend Tinkyata. It is the best. And there you go, low FODMAP bolognese sauce. So good, it's nice and spicy. If you want, you can always make a double batch and then freeze half of it, and you have fresh homemade meat sauce whenever you want. If now you're thinking, all I need is garlic bread, you're gonna wanna check out my gluten-free bread recipe. All right guys, hope you found that helpful. Go ahead and like and subscribe if you did. I'll be back with another low FODMAP gluten-free recipe each week. And go ahead and check me out on Instagram. I post a lot of recipes and meal inspirations that I don't necessarily make recipes for. All right, well, I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching.